I think Game Changers, if you look at the ban announcement that kicked everything off, where it was like, I say suddenly, but Jeweled Lotus has been actively stated that it's been on a watch list for the longest time.
Yeah.
And anyone who's played Jeweled Lotus knows how busted the card is. But Jeweled Lotus, Dockside, I think it came as a shock potentially to people. And so at the very least with the Game Changers, it's actively saying, hello, here's a list of cards that are on a watch list.
Yeah.
Like these are the ones that we have our eye on and we think they're negatively impacting earlier brackets.
Yeah.
And are very powerful in the higher bracket. If a card ever gets unbanned, it's going immediately onto the Game Changers.
Game Changers, okay. So it's like a probationary period,
so,
but it can go either way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. G'day everyone, welcome back to the podcast by Palms Off Gaming. I'm Jacob, filling in for Darcy while he has a little rest overseas. Today with me, I have the amazing Attack on Cardboard, Tom, as he is otherwise called.
90% of my subscribers don't know my name.
Yeah, he's actually a member of the Commander Format panel being handpicked by the GOAT, Gavin Verhey. MTG content creator as well. Attack on Cardboard itself, the channel's been around for about 2 years, I saw.
Yeah, I think
something like
birthday,
that.
Couple months.
Brilliant. Yep. And you're also number one Bello fan.
Yeah. I could talk about Bello all day.
Yeah. So before we actually crack into the questions proper, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you've been doing, why people have been paying attention to you.
Yep. So Tom, I've been running a YouTube channel called Attack on Cardboard for just under 3 years now. I've been playing Magic the Gathering for over 15 years. So I started back in 2008. As I said, just started creating content about Magic only 3 years ago. We'll no doubt get into it, but it's a story fueled by pure spite. is why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, me and my wife, we've been in the content creator space for over 10 years now.
Yeah, right.
We were partner streamers with Mixer. Yeah. Back when Mixer was still a thing. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Do you reckon Ninja had something to do with that? Jumping on board and then
him, Shroud got best paydays ever.
Yeah.
2 years of work for whatever it was, $20 million.
That's what I mean. That could have been funding for the next 6 months or something for Mixer.
This is where I say I talk to all of this. Microsoft literally just bought the FTL technology to be a competitor to Twitch brought it across to their cloud gaming systems. So that's how, because at the time, we're on a total tangent already, but at the time, Twitch had the 30 second to a minute latency between chat message and Twitch, whereas Mixer was 1-to-1. It was live.
Yeah, right.
And so Microsoft took that technology and basically put it into their cloud gaming.
There you go.
Yeah.
As they've always been, if you can't beat them, buy them. Yep.
Yep. #money.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess originally I was first going to congratulate you on your very, very much well-deserved 20,000 subs.
Yep.
Or just a little bit over now at time of recording. I'm kind of interested about how you got into this all through spite.
Yeah.
So do you want to delve into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, my partner and I, my wife and I, we've been in the content creator space for years. Originally all started back when I used to work at JB Hi-Fi. Got approached by rep at Microsoft that said, hey, come and stream for us, come stream on our channel and play games for us and we'll pay you in video games. And I said, okay, because who doesn't want to get paid in video games?
Tell me about it, yeah.
Did that for a bit. And then, as I said, got my wife into streaming and we were both streaming on Attack on Geek, creating content, making YouTube content.
Yeah.
And my wife was writing reviews for the website, making content herself. And I kind of was just on the journey with her. It was her baby.
Yeah.
And I guess we've been in the space for so long and we never found, I guess, it.
Yeah.
We never had any major success. I mean, my partner, wife, she was the first female partner for Mixer across New Zealand. Yeah. At the very least. So she found some success there, but obviously Mixer then died. She was probably number one Xbox girl for New Zealand as well on Twitter. And then we just kind of, I don't know, grew up and got tired of streaming. For me, streaming is really difficult because I hate putting on a mask for 4 hours and pretending to be...
Whoa, guys, this level is really hard.
Yeah, basically being Mr. Beast for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so I guess when we moved to Australia, we were still trying to find what resonated for us. And I can't remember exactly what hit me, but I just remember it was after a PAX. Maybe it was after PAX 2021, 2022, whenever I started the channel. I was like, you know what? I'm going to open up some product and make some videos.
Yeah.
And it kind of just started from there, where I just make shorts about just opening booster packs because I'd seen other people been successful, been successful there. I thought, I can do that myself.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I actually wanted to grow.
Yeah.
So I started studying YouTube, learning about thumbnails and things like that. And it all came down to, so what are we? Yeah, we're about to year 3. So it must have been January or February 2022. Got invited to a media event for Magic.
Yeah.
And the PR person there was asking everybody, what are your New Year's resolutions? And I said, I want to hit 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
At the time, I only had like 300 subscribers. And so the PR person said, well, that's a bit ambitious, don't you think? Yeah. And then laughed at me. And I took that personally. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna really put my all into this.
Yeah, stick it to them.
And I studied the hell out of, again, YouTube with thumbnails, intros, titles, started developing my style. And then it all came, I guess like the explosion moment for me was there was a big, massive rules change that happened. And I just realized nobody was talking about this rules change. And I was like, I'll quickly make a video about it. And I did, thought nothing of it. I guess.
Went to bed. Is that classic thing?
Yeah, went to bed and woke up and just the video had blown up.
Yeah. And
I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm the rules guy now.
Yeah. I mean, it's worked for you. And that was actually something I was going to touch on as well, is like this, like what you do is a niche of a niche interest.
Yeah.
It's slowly becoming less and less niche as time goes on, but relatively niche still. And so you'd have to be really passionate to not only want to make videos on it, but want to make good videos. Like they're not only are they information heavy, you've made them digestible as well, which is such a difficult thing to do, especially when things are so convoluted. And on top of that, you made them entertaining, which is probably part of the fact they are digestible. If they were just word soup, I don't think people would be able to get into it as much as they have. So that really does answer one of my questions I was hoping to delve in a bit further.
Yeah, I kind of realized as I was making the rules content that there was a gap in the market in terms of people talking about the rules. There's some excellent channels already that I'll shout out. There's Judging for the Win, who he's I think one of the top rated judges in America.
Yeah, cool.
He sits down, poses a question and just talks the rules straight to the camera.
Yep.
Keeping It Casual does YouTube shorts just on the rules. Really funny guy, really, really good. And outside of that, that's pretty much it in terms of people who create, as far as I've seen anyway. There's a couple of others that I saw, but there was a definite gap in the market for long form videos that were interesting, talking about the most boring topic in Magic, the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Which ideally is the most important thing.
I was about to say that. Like there would be no Magic the Gathering without the rules.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the whole interaction system, being able to, interrupt people and what have you, really relies on the fact that there are not just rules, but very complicated and oftentimes very confusing rules, especially if you're newer to the game. I still consider myself a baby player. There's still so much to learn.
There's so much you're not taught when you, if you imagine when you sit down and first start playing the game, you're introduced to the basics, like tapping your mana, casting spells, attacking. But even then, for example, casting spells, where if people who play Magic, you just go, okay, I cast a spell, tap my mana, done.
Yeah.
But there's 9 steps to actually doing that.
Yes.
It's not just okay, I cast my spell, I do it. No. There's all these steps that go into it. And then even with attacking with creatures, the whole attacking doesn't mean the creature attacked. And so there's all this word, I like to say that you need to have a law degree to play Magic. Sometimes it feels like that. And that's the barrier that I'm trying to break down.
I mean, when you have rule 9.302 point something or other, it does feel like that, and it can be overwhelming. So I think channels like yours are an extremely important resource. And it's part of the reason why you got picked up by the Commander Format panel, which we'll get into later. There are a couple of other things I would like to chat with you about. So I'm always interested in when people first got into Magic the Gathering. For myself, it was only like 2 years ago or something, but I'd been curious about it for a very, very long time. I had a very bad introduction about 10 or so years ago, and then sort of put it on the back burner. And every time I looked at it, I kind of went like, oh, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I could justify it. And rightly so, because we know how much we spend on this game. It can be absolutely crazy. But then working here at Palms Off, it kind of twisted my arm. I was like, okay, well, you know, if I'm working here, I kind of have to like know something. And then I just, as I knew, I just like well and truly fell down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And so I guess my question to you is, what was that rabbit hole moment?
For me, it was, so I, born and raised in the UK, moved to New Zealand when I was 15. And 15 is like the worst time to move countries, because the new country you move into, everybody already has their friend groups and they're already kind of like solidified friendships. So I really struggled to find like my group of friends.
Yeah.
I was a bit of like a vagabond. Like I had friends. I just wandered between groups at lunchtime. And I remember my closest friend at the time would keep disappearing during lunch break.
Yeah.
And eventually I was like, oh, what's going on? And they go, oh, we're playing Magic the Gathering in this classroom. And I remember him showing me the game and thinking to myself, I'm never going to play this stupid game. And here we are.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like, if I wanted to have friends, I had to try and like force myself to be involved.
Yeah.
And so I just remember, getting my friends to introduce me to it, and eventually reaching the point where they were all playing casually, but I was a very competitive player.
Real sweaty.
So, I mean, like, I could be. And because for me, and again, this is like my evolution of Magic the Gathering player, to me, winning was all that mattered when I was playing the game. And so eventually started playing competitively. My decks would beat my friends' casual decks. So then I would start going, I eventually found my local card shop, would play there. I'd skip uni, go play cards, don't do my assignments, go play cards, spend my uni money on cards.
Yeah.
I just really fell right into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not nothing you regret, do you?
No. I mean,
the amazing things is
every choice I've made has led me to this point.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think about like even my short time, the incredible people that the game has let me interact with, meet, chat with. It's truly incredible. Like how many different people from all walks of life. Like I would have never met you. I would have never met the lovely people at Cozy Magic Club. I would have never met the guys at Casual Compliance.
Yeah.
It really is incredible. It's a very a conduit between worlds.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's in the name, The Gathering.
The Gathering. Yeah. I mean, at one point it was the Ice Age, so I don't know I don't know how that plays into there. One question I also really wanted to ask was, I know that you've built your channel in a way where like you ask yourself, if I was a new player, what would I be confused with? And my question would be, for newer players, like we're talking like maybe 6 months into the game, so they know a little bit, they're not brand new. What is the most common mistake that they make? And then what's the most common mistake older players make, people who've been in the game for a couple of years? So I imagine at some point you probably get a little bit carried away. You go like, I know everything. Like surely there's some blind spot there for a lot of them that they may keep making these silly little mistakes here and there.
I mean, the stuff that I talk about on my channel is usually the unintuitive stuff. The meme right now is Bello, because Bello talks about the layers. Yeah. And I've kind of been like the layers guy. Like if there's a layers question, I'll be the one talking about it. Yeah. Because that's again something that is unintuitive. You don't get taught about the layers. You kind of just hear about it and then you research it and then you probably stumble across my video about it. But in terms of just like common things that I see coming up, it's usually just down to the wording of the cards, like the when this creature enters the battlefield or as this creature enters the battlefield. Like they sound similar, and to a new player, it's like, it's the same. It's the same thing. Like there's this classic example of there's the Ulamog card from Modern Horizons 3 that says when it enters with a number of counters equal to the highest mana cost that's exiled.
Yeah.
Say you got nothing in exile and you cast a spell, a blink spell on Ulamog that exiles it and brings it back. Ulamog will see itself in exile and enter with the 10 +1/+1 counters.
Okay.
And everyone goes, well, that doesn't make sense because there was nothing in exile.
Yeah.
And it's like, but this is how, and because of as it means like the card looks ahead, it can look back in time, and you don't really think about that when you're playing the game. You just see it.
when you're brand new to it. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like older player stuff, again, it's as you become more experienced in Magic, you kind of like seen it all. And there's just a lot of, there's a meme, I guess, currently where everything is kicker. Yeah. So every mechanic that comes out is the kicker mechanic, just with a slight change of words. So you kind of can piece a lot of the puzzles together. And again, it's just those weird interactions that trip people up. And then I might just have to pose the question to them in a different way, or pose them another question, and they'll be like, oh, yes, I get it, how I work it out.
Yeah, that's interesting. So let's actually touch on your philosophy. We've talked about your spite.
Yep.
But let's talk about like the actual content creation side of things. You mentioned a little bit off camera that you actually hate editing.
Yeah.
What's the go with that? Like, your videos aren't like super complicatedly edited, but there's definitely quite a bit of effort that's put into them.
Yeah. So the whole reason why I guess I've been drawn to YouTube is because I believe there's a formula, and if you can crack this formula, that's it. You can work it out. So for me, one of the pieces of the formula is keeping people engaged in the videos. The three most important parts of creating a video is the idea. You've got to have a good idea, because then you need to be able to create an interesting thumbnail from that idea, create an interesting title, and then have a decent 30-second intro into that.
Yeah.
There's always the thing that I tell up-and-coming creators, you could have the best video in the world, could be your magnum opus. If you've got a shit thumbnail, nobody's clicking it, nobody's watching it. So if you ever want to get into YouTube, especially, and you want to create a video, don't write your script first, come up with the idea, and then go, can I create an interesting thumbnail?
So is that so important that you will totally scrap a video if wow, okay,
I'll have a list of ideas written down. Like I'll be either for like I'm browsing through Reddit and I see people like ask questions, or I might just be, oh, that's interesting. Or if I see cards, like I'll take screenshots, and I'll just have like this repository of all these ideas. And then when it gets around to, okay, let's make a video, it'll be like, okay, what's the title going to be? What's the first 30 seconds going to look like? And then thumbnail. And if I can't think of a good idea for a thumbnail, it's not worth it. Wow. Just what's the point? Just put it on the back burner.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And then in terms of editing, it's the whole, I always edit with TikTok mentality. Something's got to be moving every 3 to 5 seconds, whether that's text on the screen, pictures coming in, a little animation or something. That's always on my mind. And the hardest thing I have for editing is, what can I put on the screen when I'm talking about a concept or some rules or something like that? So something where I'm not being like, here's the card I'm explicitly talking about. Like, how do I break this topic down into an easily digestible thing? And that's the thing that takes the longest time, because I have to just sit there and be like, okay, does this make sense? Is this engaging? And I hate that with a passion. It's just really hard to work all of that out. Like, script writing's easy. Coming up with the ideas is tricky, but you find formulas. Like, I'm going to redo some of my more successful videos and just redo them with the new knowledge that I've learned and new skills that I've learned for editing. But coming up with blank canvas, what do I put on the screen here at any given moment? That can be a real challenge.
So if you hate editing and you hate like going like, oh, how do I put this together? What part of the video do you actually enjoy making?
I enjoy the research. The research and the scripting. Like, so I've pseudo become the layers guy, but I didn't know what the layers were prior to me making my layers video. That was an active choice I made where I'm like, this is an interesting topic. I actually don't know a lot about it. I'm going to go learn layers. And then it's one of those, once I've learned it, I know that I've learned it to a decent point where I can explain it to someone else. And that's where I was like, okay, let's explain it to someone else. Let's create a video out of this.
So is it a little bit like solidifying your own newly learned knowledge?
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. That's definitely where it started. But now it's just a case of I'm just in the teaching mode. So I'm like, okay, I'm always constantly on the lookout. What are people struggling with, or what are some common questions I always see come up?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, let's talk to that.
Yeah. And do you enjoy like the YouTube game?
I enjoy the puzzle solving aspect with like the metrics and the psychology behind YouTube.
Sure.
I enjoy that so much more than the editing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fair enough. I think you have to really be, there's something about it. Like I like editing things that I like to edit. Did that make sense? Like there's certain things that are just such a drag. Like I don't mind editing the podcast, but like there's a point where you're just like, dude, I'm sick of hearing this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when you're editing, because you go back so often, you're just like, oh, this bit's like not quite right. Like, did I EQ this correctly? Am I hearing a little bit too much of the room in like a bad way?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Just on that, like, so I always try and do the whole improve 1% each time I do something.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm trying to do with editing my videos now is that when I edit a section, I've like put a little marker of where I've edited up to and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I'm not allowed to go back and rewatch that section again because I'm terrible of when I'm editing a video. Like I'll be like editing 6 minutes in and I'll just be like, let's just watch 6 minutes of video to see if I've done everything right. Yeah. Even though I've watched like the same 3 minutes so many times, I just need to know, okay, let's save some time here. Let's not watch the intro again because I already know the intro's right. I've done everything I need to do. Let's make a marker here and move on.
I get the thing, like if I've done something really well, like I'll just go back and admire my own work before I finish the rest of it.
There are definitely like some jokes or some editing things where I'm like, damn, that was good. I got to watch that 10 times.
Yeah, totally. There's been moments like, especially when we used to do like more vlog-based content, there'd be like moments where I put like something like some silly little meme in and I just like laugh to myself and go like, you gotta look at this. Like I pull everybody over at the computer.
I like to do the one random meme or a Magic exclusive meme. Do you know about the prayer hands guy? So whenever I say the word but, it'll flash onto the screen.
Yeah. Well, I guess this like maybe a bit rogue. I don't know. Let's see if I leave this part in. But like, what are like your favorite like Magic related memes? Because you are like a meme guy. There's a lot of pop cultural references, and this may be more like the psychology of YouTube side of things. But I get a feeling from that there's like you have this appreciation of internet humor.
Yeah, I do like little subtle references. Like there was one video that I did where I was there was a rules change in combat, and I was talking about the card Giant Growth. And I say the words, you need to pump up your creature. And then as I'm going through it, I was like,
I remember this. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Yeah. Pump up your creature. Pump up the jam.
Yeah. I actually went back because I thought I misheard. So I went back.
Yeah. I remember just being like, this would just be a little throwaway. And I'll just put the beat every time I say the word pump it. And I thought nobody would like get it or realize, but then someone commented, casually pumps up the jam.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, yeah. And it's like the top rated comment on the video.
Yeah. So those are the things that I really enjoy as well, where I look back at a piece, like something I've made for Palms Off, and I'm like, yeah, I did a really good job there. I look back and go, that's really good. But then the things I'm like, I don't know if this is going to do well at all. I mean, they'll pop off.
This is the whole, it comes back to the videos that I've put the least amount of work into always seem to do really well. And the videos that I stress hard about and do all of this like really intense editing, they just like flop.
Yeah.
I have had some videos where I've actively put a lot of work into, like the Can You Lie in Magic the Gathering video. Like did a lot of research, lots of looking into the rules.
Is that still your top video?
I believe that is. It's one of, I think it is my still top video. It's that, and then it's followed by, I think, did this guy cheat in a big tournament and some rules change, the rules change video.
People love those sort of videos, yeah.
But see, that's the whole, those are interesting ideas. Like I've had people comment on Can You Lie in Magic the Gathering videos being like, I don't even play Magic the Gathering. I just clicked the video because it looked interesting.
Yeah. No, I saw that comment actually.
That's what like, the audience that you want to hit. You want to hit the mainstream. So like videos like that, because again, it's the whole, I'm very niche, but how can I expand this to entice everybody?
Yes.
Like even again, like, did he cheat? There's a guy holding a picture of a trophy. Okay, so he's clearly won the tournament, and it just says the words next to it, did he cheat? Well, now you're curious. Yeah. Now you want to know.
Yeah, what's going on? Why has he won this big trophy? It looks pretty important. Like, is there some big scandal?
And then even then, because then this comes back into the whole, what I said, okay, so you've clicked the video, now the intro. So in the intro, annoys me to hell, and all content creators, if growing in content creation, but you need to stop doing this. You should never go, hello, welcome to my video, be sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you've just hired a lawnmower guy to come and mow your lawns, and he's like, okay, can you rate me 5 stars before I mow your lawn? And it's like, no, I need you to do the job. So likewise, in my videos, I jump straight into it. I think in the cheating one, I literally say, we've had the big, massive tournament, 50,000 prize pool on the line. There was 3 cheating allegations. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's talk about them.
Yeah.
And that's all within the first like 30 seconds that I'm talking about what I say at the very start of the video, which is, did this guy cheat? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about it.
No fluff, just straight content. Yeah.
That's really, I think, really important.
And I think the same thing as well, like this is a tangent. Have you ever watched the B1M?
I don't think
so. It's
so.
a building and construction channel. It's hosted by a guy called Fred. And they have like amazing videos. Like some of them are like proper documentaries, and some of them are just like really cool YouTube videos. But the reason why I bring him up is he is the master of the integrated ad.
Yeah.
Like the ad reads are flawless. Like I'm telling you, if you haven't watched this channel before, you will not know that they're coming.
Sold too. Yeah.
They're coming, because it will be smooth. It'll be like if it's a let's just say this like some fancy new art museum has just been made or is proposed to be made.
Yep.
He'll just slip in a Masterworks ads, and when you won't even know, because you'll be like, oh, art is really valuable, and we need to like venues like this are very important for not only letting people see these amazing bits of art, but for protecting them, because they're worth so much money, and you could also be a part owner too if you and you just don't see it coming. Like that's not even like a really good example of it, but you just don't see it coming. And we play a game like, because we watch him regularly at lunch. We'll play the game like, is he when's the segue going to come where he's going to talk about the ad? I think like that sort of skill for creators, I think is so important, and that's sort of like it's part of that thing that you spoke about as well just then, when you're like, okay, we got to slip into like this content straight away. Like it's too late for you. You're already stuck.
Yeah.
Like as much as like I'm stuck now watching this bloody Masterworks ad for the 15th time, you're now stuck watching my video. Yeah. Yeah.
And again, like I mentioned before, like I do that with my editing, like secret behind the scenes exclusive. If you're watching my videos, and you get to the halfway point, you can see exactly, you can pinpoint where I lose the will to live when I'm in the editing studio, because the editing like doesn't drop off completely. Like my typical standard stuff still happens, but there's not as much oomph. But that's because if you're 5 minutes into a 10-minute video about a really complex rules topic, you're in for the long ride. And I guess that's the other important thing as well is the storytelling of your content. So for me, I'm educational.
Yeah.
So I always pose a question at the start of the video. Maybe it'd be like a rules question, like, hey, here's this complicated interaction. Guess what you think the outcome will be.
Yeah.
All right, hold that thought. Let's actually go through it step by step, and I'll ask you the question again at the end of the video, let you answer it. And then like on my shorts, I do rules question shorts. Pose a rules question, talk about the answer, and at the end, I'll always go bonus question. Well, this is a bonus rules question.
Yeah.
And then that's how I get people commenting on my videos.
Yeah.
Like it's just little things like journeys that you want to create for your viewers.
Yeah. And you're setting this out as you're scripting. You're like, okay, like how am I drawing people into this one?
Yeah. Literally the intro is one of the most important things. Like on a YouTube video, you have 30 seconds to hook someone. It's probably less than that. And then on a short, you have 3 seconds to hook someone.
Yeah. TikTok shorts, all that stuff is very tricky. I find text on screen just works the best.
Yeah. I think one of my most interesting shorts analytics that I worked out was doing a short about Wolverine, and I put a wall of text on the screen where I go like, this is the important rule that we're going to look at. And then the text appears on the screen for 2 seconds. But when I go into my analytics graph, you can see as soon as I put the wall of text on the screen, the viewership just dips.
Yeah,
but
right.
I put the wall of text on the screen, and on the 3rd second, I blur out all of the text and just go into like a live example. But because I left the text on the screen for 2 seconds, there's like a decent enough percentage of my viewers swiped away from the video.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, okay, that's like every second matters.
Yeah.
So now I know, okay, don't ever fill the screen full of text again. Only just put the small part that I want to talk to.
Yeah, okay. Do you find that like when you're looking at like a piece of content, like are you like actively analyzing, going like, how come I've swiped? Or even like, actually, no, swiping away from a piece of content. Have you ever gone like, why did I do that?
I mean, yes. So my wife is getting back into content creation and creating shorts, and she's doing some stuff about comic books. And so she'll be talking about the story. And so usually I'll watch them on my lunch break because they just naturally come up. And then I'll tell her, okay, I felt like this was a bit too long. I could feel myself like the innate, like, oh, if this was anybody else's video, I would have swiped away at this point here.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't holding my interest or it wasn't interesting.
Yeah. I think it really is one of those things as well. Like you do develop this feeling as time goes on, but you also then need somebody to be like, hey man, like this little bit here getting a bit long in the tooth. Like we could tighten this up a little bit. And because sometimes that might have been the thing you spent 2 hours on.
Yeah.
And you're like,
it was just a waste of time or whatever.
Yeah. That's that classic thing of kill your darlings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely one thing. So for my channel, it's all 100% been me. Because the Magic content creation space was so small, I don't have a lot of people that I can like bounce ideas off of.
Especially in Australia.
Yeah.
It's gotten better.
Yeah,
it's gotten better. There are
better.
amazing content creators out there now, like and almost to the point where you could maybe call it a plethora, maybe.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help that I'm one of the maniacs that I will edit until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Man, maybe that's why you don't like editing.
I do it the whole, I'm so close. I just like, don't clip this out of context.
Yeah.
Like, I've almost finished this video.
Yeah.
I just want to just finish the rest of it and just be done with it.
Yeah.
That's the other reason why I like editing so late, because as soon as it gets to midnight or like 1 a.m. when I finish editing, I can just upload it.
Yeah.
And then I go to sleep. Because if I upload it in the middle of the day or in the morning, I'll be constantly looking at my phone being like, okay, is this doing any good?
This is true. But I do the same thing.
Yeah. If I upload it at midnight, I go to sleep. It's like, well, there you go. There's 6 hours that I'm not going to be looking at my analytics.
Damn, you're lucky that most of your audience is on the other side of the world for that.
But that's so it doesn't matter what time I post my content. Like that, I personally believe it doesn't matter at all, because of the way YouTube wants people to see your content. This is the other thing that pisses me off, that people think that, YouTube isn't sharing my video out to everybody. And it's like, no, it's because people aren't watching your video because they're not enjoying it for some reason. So why would you, if YouTube is going, oh, people are swiping away from this video that we want to serve ads on and we want to make money on, but people are swiping away. Okay, I guess we won't show it because people aren't enjoying it.
Yeah.
Whereas this video, people are staying, they're watching through, they're getting served all of these ads. Yeah, we'll keep pushing that video. So it's never YouTube's fault that a video failed. It's because your audience didn't like it. And that's what you got to get to the bottom of.
It's a hard one too. Yeah. I was watching Abroad in Japan the other day, and he's done a UFO documentary. I don't know if you've heard of either of these things.
Yeah.
And at first, like, it really did more like the thumbnail and everything. I'm like, he's just going to go to the town. He's going to talk to some guy that saw a UFO there or something, like a normal travel video. But the whole thing was like more like a deep dive into, like UFO sightings and things like that. And the reviews reflected it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it came up with my sub feed as well.
Sub feed is dead.
It is dead. It's been dead for a long time. But even then, like, a channel that I watch regularly should typically still pop up in it.
Yeah.
And just to see it, like this video that had been out for hours, maybe 10 hours, something like that, only for him, 100,000 views. I was like, ooh.
I mean, I've had videos where it's, I think it's probably Oh, it might actually be this one, the video about Moonsilver Key. It's probably, I think it's my third highest watch video, where it sat at 100,000 views or just under 100,000 views for nearly a full year. And then just YouTube was like, you know what? Push it. Yeah. And it spiked, and now it's catching up to like 300,000 views. And you can see on the graph where it's like hit its 100,000 and just flatlined for nearly a full year. And then whoop, and it just kicked off again.
Yeah.
Don't know why YouTube's decided to do that, but still, always think about YouTube this way. YouTube wants to make money. They make money by people sitting and watching your content and sitting and watching it for long periods of time. If your content isn't doing that, YouTube is not going to promote your videos. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it's a realistic and some maybe harsh reality check for a lot of people, but
yeah. I mean, this comes back to the whole as well. I tell a lot of upcoming creators, and this comes back to, I guess, like my spite feeling, where you'll always get, there's two really bad pieces of content creation advice I feel like people get.
Yeah.
Make videos because you love it and you're passionate about it, and constantly be posting. Both of those are terrible pieces of advice. First of all, posting content that you love is great for you. If you're only posting it for you because you want to put the content out there into the world and you don't care what the result is, great. Keep doing that. But if you want to post content that grows, you can't be selfish. You got to post content that the audience wants to watch.
Yeah.
So you might want to post about, like for me, I just want to post videos about opening booster packs all day. But nobody gives a crap about me opening booster packs.
Yeah.
So that's the harsh reality. But people want to learn about the rules of the game. And I enjoy talking about the rules of the game. And it's just kind of one of those, been fortunate enough where the content that the audience enjoys watching and the content that I kind of enjoy producing just happens to line up. And that's one thing that you need to definitely like find your balance. And then in terms of posting, it's the wrong way around. It's not posting constantly. It's posting consistent quality. So definitely, again, on my channel, I've had bits where I'll like post once a month, but I've had videos pop off because it's had the right title, it's had the right thumbnail, and it's just hit the audience. Like the audience wanted to see this particular piece of content. Focus on what you're producing, not how often you're producing it.
Great advice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it might be time to delve into your deck. And if you do a good enough job, I'll let you open one of these these two packs
Super
I picked up from the lovely people at General Games at Chirnside Park last night. G'day if you're watching. All right. So I actually spied before when you opened up your deck box that you brought Savine the Chronoclasm.
Yeah. This is my let me introduce myself deck. This is the deck that I feel is the perfect, like you can learn a lot about someone by the first commander deck they bring to a table.
Oh, interesting.
If you've never played with someone before or a group of people and you say, okay, let's play a game.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot about what someone produces at the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like this is it's pretty strong, but it's not strong enough. We'll go at the end of the game, someone will go, oh, I didn't enjoy playing against that.
Yeah.
I feel like playing against this deck, everyone will have a fun time.
So it's like, it's fair but powerful.
Yes. It's also as well, it's controversial in the sense that it's nothing but board wipes, but not board wipes in the traditional sense where it's like Farewell or like Dare Judgment. It's damage-based board wipes. And if I cast one of these board wipes, I'm probably going to win the game.
Sure. Do you want to show us some of the more important pieces out of it?
Yeah, sure. Alrighty. So here's the commander of the deck.
Yep.
This isn't a deck that lives or dies by the commander. The commander is just a bonus here. So Savine from Commander 2019, 5 mana, 2/2, prevent all damage ever dealt to it. When you cast your first instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard each turn, copy that spell. You may cast it. You may choose new targets for it.
Yeah.
So the deck runs a few flashback spells, so cast things back from the graveyard and get double value from it. But as I said, this is just a bonus. It's just a nice 2/2 blocker that I can just play, and people have a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah.
We then move into the main game plan of the deck, which is to simply get as many Boros Reckoner type creatures onto the battlefield. So for those who've not seen Boros Reckoner before, 3 mana, 3/3. Whenever Boros Reckoner is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player. So we run cards like this, Brash Taunter, which basically says the same thing.
Yeah.
And then we run cards like Blasphemous Act, Earthquake, Magma Quake. So we deal all the damage, like Blasphemous Act to Boros Reckoner. So now we get to deal 13 damage to anything else.
Yeah.
And then we can combine that with cards like Fiery Emancipation or City on Fire to triple that damage. So now instead of dealing 13 damage to someone, we're now dealing 36 damage to someone. And that's the deck. Basically, if I get a couple of those creatures down and then cast a board wipe, it's probably going to be game over.
Yeah, very nice. All right, I'm going to jump back over here. So with Savine, did you have the precon that came with it, or did you just pick it up?
It was the one that came with Dockside, first printing of Dockside Extortionist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had it for ages, just sitting in a box, and then saw someone talk about Boros Reckoner effects and things like Blasphemous Act.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, this is a bit. I like to use the word e-girly.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. I've not seen anybody else run a deck like this before, and I feel like it fits a nice mix of defensive, because any damage that gets dealt to these creatures, you redirect so people don't attack you. And then it's got a little bit of combo mixed in. And as I said, it's a bit political as well.
Yeah. So it sounds like you actually really do enjoy the brewing aspect of the game as well.
I mean, I'm not the best brewer in the world. I do like my complex interactions. I think the thing that surprises most people is I hate political games of Commander. And this would be like from my early days of playing Commander, where the usual rule of thumb was whoever shouts loudest got listened to. And I couldn't be bothered trying to have shouting contests with people.
Yeah.
So I just ended up building Pillow Fort decks, which, for those of you who don't know, it's basically I just put a bunch of defensive enchantments in play, Ghostly Prison, Propaganda, Humility, and just build up this little fort, let the three other people fight amongst themselves. Eventually it comes down to a 1v1. And then I'm just like, okay, well, you can't do anything to me, but I can still attack you, so I'm going to win the game that way.
Yeah, very nice.
And that way I don't have to get involved in politics.
Yeah, you could just sit back here like, you're all dead anyway. You guys work it out. I'm still going to win. I feel that. Like, I mean, how many times you've been to the LGS and it's just so loud and then you can't hear the other person from the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I mean, even had it this weekend where someone convinced another player to do an objectively bad thing just so that I would lose the game. And if they're watching, they know who I'm talking about, and I'm not going to let this go.
So funny, dude. Alrighty. Well, I think you did a pretty good job. It did take us 2 tries because hopefully if I've edited this properly, you didn't even notice that it stopped recording. I think it might be time for the both of us to tuck into one each of these. If we find anything cool, what I'll do is I'll just get us to film it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the hits, we're wanting to hit the Calamity Beasts.
The Calamity Beasts. When I first started, delve into Bloomburrow, what I really wanted was a Lumra. Yeah. I've now got 2 of them. Nice. If I can get that Mitsuhiro Rita one, that'd be grouse. Otherwise, like, I don't know, anything green or white. I've recently built a white deck, and I'm going to be building Lumra soon.
Is it three Tree City? I think that's the other big hit.
3 Tree City is pretty good too. Yeah. I'm not much of the hit guy. I just go like, I like this set, and then I just get the set.
No, I whiffed. Got a full art land.
Yeah, same. Got a full art land, but nothing.
There's the
nothing.
Isn't there the common that's like really big at the moment?
Hair Apparent.
It's Hair Apparent and Pool. Is it Dragged Under? Pulled Under? It's the one that's got the picture of the frog being eaten by a fish.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure that's.
I'll have to look it up. It up. Yeah, I've got in my white deck. I've limited myself to 10 Hair Apparents. I feel like that's enough to have like the benefits of having that effect, but not so much that people are like, really kidding, dude? Like, come on, man. I've heard some horror stories about that. Anyway, well, that sucks. I mean, you can keep those cards. I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't know if they're that interesting, but you might find a place for them. So let's get on to your involvement with the Commander format panel.
Yep.
So from my understanding, you were on the train to PAX.
Yeah, this is on the train to work.
On the train to work, even better. So Gavin lied on the post. Then exposed.
I mean, we've spoken before. But this was, I just remember, waking up at 6:30 to get ready to go to work, seeing that I had a Twitter DM from Gavin saying, "Hey, are you free to talk?" And I'm like, sure. Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, let me give me like half an hour to just get changed and get on the train. I'll call you. Yeah, had a chat with him, and he was like very Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, I'm putting together a team moment. And just gave me the rundown on what he wanted to, Commander format panel basics and what he's looking to do. And that I'd been put forward for it and asked, if I wanted to be involved.
That must have been the most difficult day at work. I couldn't imagine getting that call and then being at all productive. I'd just be thinking about it too much.
I mean, it was really exciting and both a bit scary, especially considering what happened with the previous ban announcements.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty fortunate that I'm, mostly a faceless channel. Like I'll make I don't have the budget to afford my cardboard mask yet, but I'm predominantly, as I said at the start, barely anybody knows what I look like.
Yeah.
Nobody knows my name. It was even funny when Gavin was putting up the announcement. He's like, so I'm just going to put your name and the city that you're from. And I was like, first of all, nobody knows my name, so no one knows who you're talking about. So just change that to Attack on Cardboard. Second of all, please don't tell people where I live.
Yeah.
Let the people who are nice and already involved in this community, they obviously know where I am because I go to Fortress and all of that. But random gremlins on the internet.
Yeah, you just want to make it that little bit harder for them to do it because it's not impossible to find out.
Oh yeah,
it's like if you figure out where we are, it's you can probably connect the dots.
Yeah, I actually got a plane to catch tonight, so
back to New Zealand. I mean that must have been a truly like humbling moment to be recognized, especially considering like your channel has been around for 2 years, but this real idea of I'm the rules guy. It's much, much more recent than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being recognized so early on,
it's
really cool.
It was, as I said, it was really surprising, really nice feeling to get. I mean, at the end of the day, whether it happened or it didn't, I would have still continued, talking about this game, talking about the rules, being passionate about it. But just really glad that I get to represent Australia and New Zealand now on the Commander format panel and just be a voice for our little region down here.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important thing as well that Wizards have looked at is that with the old, what was it called, Commander
Rules Committee,
it was all based in North America, from what I understand. And that's no real fault to the people that were in it. They just said like, hey, well, somebody's got to do it. I guess we'll do it. And they were also in it for a very, very long time, like playing the game for a very long time. So, but having that more global perspective, I think would probably be helpful.
I feel like with the panel, not only are we covered from a locations perspective, like all around the world, we're covering the I guess the breadth of the player skill or the power level of the players as well. Whereas I feel like I sit on more of the casual, more new player focused mindset for the Commander format panel. But then we have all the CDH players that are like hardcore into competitive Commander. And they're, really representing the community on that side of things.
This does touch on one of the questions that I wanted to ask as well. We spoke briefly before the pod, before the start of the pod, that I was very curious about, whose strengths lay where and, how do you work together cohesively as a team? Because I haven't seen anything really on it yet. And obviously, it's all been largely, as far as I understand, handpicked by members of the Wizards of the Coast. And so there probably was a lot of thinking for them to go like, okay, like how does this person fit in with this team? So how does that play out? Like, you say you're more casual specific. How do you work in with that?
So I guess it's not really like a formula or something like we work out. We all have our own ways of thinking about Commander and how people should be interacting with Commander, and just I guess our experiences across the game. I've worked in card shops and I've taught like brand new players. I've had like a you know, 13 to 14-year-old like league at one of the hobby shops and build up the younger community we have there and brought them in. So I'm very focused, again, just new player mindset, because again, the content that I create as well is always, can a new player or an intermediate player understand this?
Yeah.
Whereas you've got someone like Lua, who does I'm going to get murdered because I'm not going to remember, Scry Babies, which is the the competitive Commander show.
Yep.
So her and her partner, soon-to-be husband, comedian, I think that is. Yeah. He's very competitive, Commander focused as well. So we all have like, I guess, our agreements or disagreements about how things are, especially when putting together like the game changers list. Like there's agreements and disagreements about who or what should be on that list. So for again, I'm not going to talk to what anybody else voted for or agreed on, but for me, I think a card like Drannith Magistrate shouldn't be a game changer. But that causes a lot of arguments when I made my video about that opinion, and not everybody agreed with me on the Commander format panel, and rightly so. That's totally within their right to do so.
That's what the panel was for. Was exactly. For this discussion.
Like, Gavin literally said day one, getting 18 people to agree on the same thing is not going to be possible. But we're all adults. We can all just talk. Hey, this is how I see it. And there've been plenty of times where people have been like put a discussion on something like mass land destruction, for example, talking about what should be counted as mass land destruction and what shouldn't. And you know, people will state their piece, state their case, and some people have been like, oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. I've changed my mind. I'm going to vote a different way now.
Yeah. But the whole point of the panel, I feel like, if there was no disagreement, why even have the panel?
Yeah, exactly. Having to just be like, okay, this is how we're doing things, off we go.
Exactly right, yeah. So it really does feel like there's been at least an attempt at crystallizing many different facets of a very broad format.
I think as well, if you look at how each of us engages with the community as well, like we've got our different strengths there. Like again, for my community, it's mostly rules and people learning the game. If you look at Rebels community, it's more about Commander deck building and theory there. If you look at Commander at Home, again, it's all the different aspects of the game are covered. We all appeal to different audiences. We all are collecting different feedback from the community. So I feel like we all have something to add.
So if one person, I'm not sure like if these meetings are chaired or not. If there's
not really. We're literally talking in a forum every day.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, yeah. So there's no big like, okay, guys, it's the monthly meeting. Got to jump on now.
Yeah, like we do have objectives or things that we want to agree or come to a consensus on by certain points, because we have to. Like there's an update coming. I don't think we've locked in a date yet. It's coming at end of April. Yeah. There's going to be an update to the beta system.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll have to agree on something there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And speaking of, things you want to tick off and all that, the bracket system.
Yep.
Where when I first wrote these questions, I'm like, it's been 6 months since we had the brackets. It's been 2, dude. Yeah, it's been crazy, but it feels like 6 months. It's been crazy already. How are we feeling with that? What's the general consensus, do you feel?
So it's really, I think it's one of those, is it marketing is the right word? How it was marketed is a really interesting discussion piece. So Gavin wrote this really great article covering everything.
Yeah.
And then there was this single image that just showed the brackets and just had like a brief 2-word description about each of the brackets. And the vast majority of the players went, I'm just going to look at that picture. I'm not going to read anything else. So where we have like bracket 2, where it says average pre-con level power, everyone's like, so it's just pre-cons only. It's like, well,
not really.
It's a bracket.
Yeah.
Pre-cons are like the middle of that bracket, but you can have upgraded pre-cons, which would like go towards the top end of bracket 2. And then you can have just, the stuff you've thrown together because you've just started playing Magic for the first time is probably going to be at the bottom of bracket 2, and you can have this like range between them.
Yeah.
And people have just taken this one image as like gospel.
Yeah.
And so we learned very quickly, okay, we need to make sure that these images are tweaked a bit, and our wording that we use is better.
As somebody who does a lot of communications for the company, like pretty much if you've seen any of our social stuff for Pumps Up Gaming, it's pretty much been me, is not only do you need to lead that horse to water, you need to make a drink. Like you really need to be thinking it like that. And with such especially considering the unfortunate circumstances that the panel was birthed into, oh God, I mean, I couldn't imagine trying to communicate anything effectively.
It's 18 people versus Reddit.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much what it is. Because we'll say something and then you'll have one person on Reddit twist the words and everyone goes, yeah, that's exactly what they said. Even today, there was someone being like, oh yeah, the Commander panel have already come out and spoke about how they're looking to unban Coalition Victory and they've discussed that already. And I was like, no, we haven't.
I think I've seen that. Yeah,
we've not mentioned that anywhere at all. I don't even know if we've had discussions about it. Like if we have, I've not been involved.
Yeah,
but
right. Yeah,
it is funny just seeing what people say. Have been like, oh yeah, they've definitely said this, and I'm just like, no, we haven't.
No. And with the game changes, was this always going to be part of what the Commander format panel was going to be aimed at, or was this something that sort of was birthed from having a look at the bracket system and some feedback from that?
I think game changers. So if you look at the ban announcement that kicked everything off, where it was like, I say suddenly, but Jeweled Lotus has been actively stated that it's been on a watch list for the longest time.
Yeah.
And anyone who's played Jeweled Lotus knows how like busted the card is. But Jeweled Lotus, Dockside, I think it came as a shock potentially to people. And so at the very least with the game changers, it's actively saying, hello, here are what are our 41 game changers. Here's a list of cards that are on a watch list.
Yeah.
Like these are the ones that we have our eye on and we think they're negatively impacting earlier brackets and are very powerful in the higher brackets.
I think that is a good thing to communicate. I don't know if I've seen that. To be fair as well, I don't like scour the blogs as well.
I mean, like we've said that if a card ever gets unbanned, it's going immediately onto the game changes.
Okay, so it's like a probationary period, but it can go either way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. I think that would be like a really important thing. I don't know. It's been a little while since I've watched your game changes video, but maybe even like having that communicated, being like, hey, like, this is like a watch list. If you guys aren't aware, like don't go, pumping the prices of these cards up. I mean,
it happened when, as soon as the words unbanned were mentioned, a bunch of people went out and started buying all the banned cards. Like, I get Coalition Victory is one, just being like, yeah, they're going to unban it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, we haven't said anything. We haven't even hinted at what, or if we are even going to do unbans. We said unbans are possible. But that's the extent of that.
Yeah. That really did just like, we did like all of my questions, dude. Yeah. I won't lie. That's it. Like we very much organically did all these, so I'm pretty happy with that. I guess it's time to wrap up.
Sure.
This is the first podcast for Pumps Up Gaming that I'm going to be wrapping up. So first of all, I'm going to let you have a chance to plug yourself, plug what's happening, tell people if you got anything coming up with you personally, like on the channel, with the Commander format panel, if you're going to any events that you may be, willing to shake hands at, tell the people. Yeah,
sure. So, I mean, first of all, just search Attack on Cardboard. You'll find me primarily on YouTube. Do you want to learn about layers? Come and find me on YouTube. I'm on everything. As far as upcoming stuff, I mean, the lofty goal is to hit 100,000 on the channel this year.
Yeah.
I mean, currently it's more likely we're probably going to hit 50,000 this year, but I want to.
That's still pretty good.
I want to push for 100,000. Yeah, that's going to be big.
That's still really good.
Got some events.
Yeah.
I mean, of events, we got Command Fest happening. Is it in a couple of months? Mm-hmm. There's some other Mana festival. Basically, if there's a Commander event happening, somewhere in Australia, I'm probably going to be there. I'll turn up. I'll make an appearance. You look for the guy with the box on his head. That will be me.
Brilliant. And then I'll also do one for us. If you are in the market for any TCG accessories, and most likely you are because you clicked on this video, make sure that they are Palms Off Gaming branded products. We actually first suggest you go to your LGS. Don't even buy it directly from us. Support your LGS. They are the lifeblood of this community. Without them, there'd be no amazing places to play. There'd be very little events, or smaller events at the very least. We really do push you to buy from your LGS first, and they don't stock us. Pester them until they do. Don't tell them I said that. I don't know how that comes back on me repercussions wise. But otherwise, if you can't find them, palmsoffgaming.com.au is the place to grab them. You can even use Tom's affiliate link if you want. palmsoffgaming.com.au/# Attack on Cardboard for 10% off your next order with us. And you also help Tom with a little bit of pocket money. I think that wraps things up. Thank you very much for coming onto the pod.
Thanks for having me.
It's been really good. It's been a long time coming, and it's great to finally make it happen. Thanks, dude.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.